And record.
All right. So this week we had the final week of the NFL regular season. We did it. We made it together. Indeed. What a journey it's been.
Yeah. I think week 17 kind of showed the mess that the year was. It was just kind of like in a nice little package.
Well, again, week 17 had a couple kind of just stars emerge that you can't buy into, don't believe it. Like McKenzie for the Buffalo.
You're not buying all the McKenzie shares?
You may have not known that McKenzie was on that team playing football all year.
Yeah, exactly.
I went back and checked. But we talked about him on yesterday's show. He was taken in the 5th round of the NFL draft. So the draft capital, not great. He's been around. The Bills, you want Diggs. There's some good wide receivers on that team. You like Gabriel, the rookie, on there. Cole Beasley had a good year.
Right.
They actually just signed Kenny Stills to the practice squad, so we'll see if Kenny Stills can break on. John Brown, but he may or may not be around.
John Brown and Cole Beasley are free agents, so
okay, so interesting to watch. That's why
I made myself a move for Mr. Gabriel Davis.
Oh, I know. I saw that you got him. So you got a first. You moved up from the 4th to the 1st.
Yeah, move up from 4 to 1, and got a late second and Gabe Davis for McLaurin in a 4th.
Yeah, Terry's good. He's pretty well proven that he is good. It's just his team's not very good.
The thing I like about McLaurin is he's ultra consistent. He gets 10 targets a game. He catches 7 or 8 of them, has 70, 80 yards, and has always a chance at a touchdown.
Had some injuries towards the end of the year there.
Sure.
The quarterback situation is in a state of flux. It could be Alex next year. It could be somebody else. Haskins out the door.
I can't imagine Alex Smith is your long-term solution.
No, you gotta do something somewhere. I don't know that it necessarily has to be next year, but in the next couple of years here, if you're looking at the long term of dynasty.
Well, it's not going to be Haskins. We know that.
No, maybe he comes back. Man. Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Washington, they made the playoffs. Let's talk about that. Maybe wait for a couple more people to get into the chat because I want to hear some other people's opinions. Yeah. But their quarterback situation is kind of weird. With Antonio Gibson, people like him a lot. He kind of broke out this year, but does Bryce Love ever come back? I
don't think Bryce Love is going to be a thing.
Do you think Darius Geis will ever play football again?
Probably.
Okay. Is he worth maybe a stash if you have a deep bench? Like that was one that I glanced at. And I was like,
do you even want to start him if you got him? It's just one of those. It's a bad enough storyline.
So it would depend on where he comes back to. But again, young running back with a good college career, a fairly high draft pedigree, had some injuries, had the off the field stuff, which is why he's not playing now. But we've seen guys that have gotten in trouble come back and be good. Kareem Hunt's a good example.
We have, but the problem is those players have broken out already. They broke out and then they got in trouble, so we've already seen the sample size. He showed
flashes, but,
but in, 3 or 4 games and he got hurt again.
While we're talking, we're getting into we're going to be talking about deep sleepers and possible hidden treasures out there.
He's definitely on the sleeper list, but I don't know how high a priority I'm putting on him.
Gotcha. So, again, it's just a name that I'll throw out there. There's one that when I was looking at just who's a guy that I could maybe, that nobody's aware of, stash on here real quick just to see what shakes out in the offseason. And that's kind of what you want. You want some of those guys where maybe they're going to go to a different team. Maybe a guy on their team who's good is going to move on. If you can throw those on your bench, some guys that haven't performed yet just because they haven't had the opportunity. And then if they, if things don't change, if they don't get better in their situation, then you drop them and pick somebody else back up. But
the backup on Carolina is getting a lot of hype. Rod Smith, just because Mike Davis is probably going to be gone at the end of the season.
Okay,
he's 27. He'd be 28 by next year. So there's a likelihood that he won't be back. Eli with the Tier 1 subscription. Thank you very, very much
Eli,
for that.
Good to see you.
Welcome in.
Oh, so Eli was probably looking for the Rocket League live stream and stumbled upon the fantasy football, but
we can switch it to a Rocket League stream real quick, though.
Yeah, no, we'll see. Again, it's the end of the season. We would expect that this to be kind of not everybody's searching fantasy football right now, but we got people that have subscribed, so we're just going to keep it going. We're going to keep working on things, try to sharpen our game, get the we'll up the tech, up the graphics, up the production value.
Yeah.
We're still working on the studio.
Plus, Dynasty never sleeps. So
so we got Dynasty.
Keep our eyes on things.
People, again, we're the addicts for a reason.
Eli says, I might actually get into fantasy football next season because of you guys.
There you go. We'd be happy to have you.
We're trying to do a community league, so you're welcome to join that.
You got our support. Join the sensation.
We can help you out. No problem. But as we look into kind of the playoff picture, Our Bears got in.
They did. They did. They lost to Green Bay, and they snuck in the back door.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
You feel gross about it, don't you?
I mean, the joke at the beginning of the year was they added a playoff spot just for the Bears.
And it is the
sure
Bears
enough,
spot, and it probably will be for years to come.
Yep. At least we have a backdoor in every year.
That's good to sneak in the back door once in a while. But the Bears, man, they started that game tough. Like they had a good opening drive. They were hanging with the Packers, and they just forgot that there was like a third and fourth quarter.
And that's kind of the game plan. That's kind of the game plan for them was to take their time on offense. You didn't have to rush it, and if you don't have to battle with touchdowns, you're going to have a lot better time staying in the game.
Yeah, and the Bears, they can put together a good drive here and there, especially these last weeks. They've gotten better, looked better, but they're not able to hang, I think, with those elite teams, that have the high-powered offense.
Obviously Green Bay can just score at will.
Yeah, Javonte Adams, they did a good job on him when he had one touchdown.
Right.
Hey, man.
And they played Javonte Adams usually pretty well. Javonte Adams doesn't blow up on the Bears, but he's actually still productive.
Still very good.
He still gets 60, 70 yards.
They had that Tanyan touchdown in the back of the end zone where they kind of lost track of him.
Right.
Tanyan was one
night, man.
That people had talked about as being a guy that you wanted to start this week just because the Bears haven't been great against the tight end position. But yeah, a lot of times
he's definitely their favorite red zone target too.
Yeah, a lot of games that the Bears you looked at and the score was closer when actually they were getting beat the whole game. This one I felt like it was a little bit the opposite. I felt like they were kind of in it for most of the game, and just at the end they gave up a couple touchdowns.
And they started to force it a little bit.
Trubisky
wasn't
good
at his best.
Good for his one interception a game that just comes at a bad time. You got to eliminate that if you're going to beat those good. That's what the Bears like. The Bears. To beat the Packers, to beat like Kansas City, to beat those good teams, they're going to have 0 turnovers in a game. Right. They're not going to be able to get away with one.
I think I saw that if you included Week 17, David Montgomery in half PPR was right about wide receiver or running back 4.
I also saw that. So number 4 again. Here, I'll ask you. Give me your honest answer. Would he have beat Joe Mixon for fantasy points this year if they both played?
I mean,
I feel like that's a pretty good number, and Joe playing against a beat-up line
let me check the last points here.
And take into account that Joe Burrow goes down as well.
Right, I think if it was...
I think I would have won that bet had Mixon stayed healthy.
I would think you would probably be correct. This is a pretty good stat line here.
Yeah, definitely. I didn't even realize it was that good until you pulled it up.
Exactly. So I would say I would have probably lost the bet.
Yeah, so over the last, 6 games, 30, 27, 31, 34, 20, 28. Ooh.
And this is full point and some bonuses.
I even had him and was playing him, and I didn't even realize it was that good.
Oh, my.
Because, again, I think part of it is because I've been watching him those games before when he had 13, 11, 12.
Right. Well, I mean, it wasn't even that good compared to Derrick Henry.
Derrick Henry was
goodness.
Smashing. He was a beast.
2,000 yards on the season.
I know. I need Pocket to get in here. So we were doing DFS. First time for me doing DFS. And Pocket, a good fan of the show, lent us the Mandalorian helmet and the Young Ho helmet.
Just going to let it run.
But anyways, he was flaming me before. It was like, Derrick Henry, did you look at the scoring? Did you know it's a PPR? And I was like, yeah, I'm aware.
Yeah,
and Derrick
still
smashed,
Derrick Henry.
Against Houston. I was like, I like the chances that he gets multiple touchdowns. He has 2 touchdowns, runs for over 2,000 yards on the year. And for those of you that, for Eli, maybe if you don't pay close attention, if you have 1,000 yards rushing as a running back on a season, like you had a good year. That's what the kind of the mark you're hoping to hit. If a rookie hits it, it's like, wow, that was a good rookie season. He doubled it. He got 2,000 yards and
another one.
Man, he just if he
just
could catch
everybody.
If he could catch,
he can catch. All right, he's not that bad.
He's kind of Ronald Jones-esque, where it's like he'll have a drop now and then. He doesn't have great natural hands, but like he can catch a ball. They're athletes. They've been playing football their whole lives. There's Pocket. All right, Pocket. Hopefully you caught that. I was just bashing you for telling me not to start Derrick Henry in the DFS with the PPR, but.
Pocket still did okay. Pocket still made a little bit of money.
Pocket did well. He got actually probably maybe the worst speed I've seen of the year.
Yeah,
that Derrick Henry run to set up the kick where he got like
4 yards on the rush.
4 or 5. You had since said that I think Ethan got a couple more points.
Yeah, I think they adjusted the defensive points a little bit. So,
but man, that was a bad beat. But hey, he still finished in the money. Top 2 got paid out.
That was fun. Thanks to Marcy for setting the room up.
Yeah, it was. So are we considering the next week doing the?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Might as well. We could probably do a Saturday and a Sunday one, actually.
Ooh, it's getting spicy.
It's tougher.
Is real.
It's tougher with that few of players because you got to pick up. Some deeper guys.
Take my money.
Yep.
No, I'm excited about it. Yeah, like it was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did it. It definitely made the whole week more interesting. But
right. We gonna do a confidence pool for the playoffs? Maybe.
Do you have any confidence in?
The Bears.
Zero confidence.
The least amount. The least amount of confidence.
All right. The Bears are Washington, though. They can beat Washington, right? They're not going to play them, but.
No, I think they could put
up
a good fight
the Bears to
Washington.
beat the Washington football team.
Honestly, it's 50-50.
Washington's defense is tough, though, and they can get after people.
The Bears just can't score, but I don't think Washington can either. So.
All right, let's talk about the matchup. So let's see. I've got them on my computer, I think.
Okay.
Well, first we'll just do a quick rundown of this week's action of what happened, some of the points that we noticed. Las Vegas pulling out a close one over the Rams, 32-31, high scoring for that game.
Over the Broncos.
Oh, the Broncos, pardon me.
Good.
And, yeah, it's just interesting. Like that it was 32-31, Denver versus Las Vegas, week 17. I wouldn't have projected that. I don't know what the over-under was, but
it was a lot less than that, I'm sure.
Vegas has won some of those close ones, and they've lost some of those close ones. I think that the Raiders...
Thanks, Matsrock.
I think that they're going to be all right next year.
We don't feel great about it, but I guess it's better than not making it. So
congrats on the Steelers. So
yeah. Steelers.
So the Steelers, actually, we'll talk about that game, pushing the Browns and almost knocking them out of the playoffs, which I think as a Steelers fan, tell me if you're wrong, but you would have loved to see that. Your backups beat the Browns and knock them out of the playoffs.
It creates a storyline for this week because they play them again.
So that is also worth noting, is like a reason that maybe you don't put your starters in is to let the Browns win, because with your starters you should be able to smash them.
Right.
But again, the Browns, they make it in. They break what I believe it was an 18-year drought for making the NFL playoffs.
I think the Browns right now might be overmatched, but they're going to be a tough team.
Yeah, and they got everything to play for, and a little bit just happy to be there. But anybody that makes it in has a chance. Like you got to show up, you got to play.
Except the Bears.
Pittsburgh, they had that weak spot where in their kind of couple games that they dropped to teams that you wouldn't expect to beat them, so they're vulnerable. Washington and Philly, we'll hold off on that. That's the last one I want to talk about. So Indy beats Buffalo. You've hated Indy all year. Or I'm sorry. Let's see. That's the wild card playoff matchup. So, okay, some of these are final ones.
Because Buffalo won, I can't remember who they played, Jets or somebody, but they won by 56 to like 28. So
gotcha. So now it's moving into the actual upcoming playoff matchup. So we'll just jump into that. But other games that stood out: Chicago, they get beat by Green Bay. They kind of hung with them. It was disappointing, but because the Rams ended up beating Arizona, if you played Kyler, in a DFS or something, he went out, missed a good chunk of that game, and the defense showed up. So even with the backup quarterback,
we can go over some high point totals from this week. Jonathan Taylor, 253 yards
your
rushing.
Boy, you got to be happy about that.
His draft stock is climbing. Where are you taking him?
Pretty high. I like him. I like Dobbins. I think Akers will go later, but I kind of like him. Swift, I'm concerned with we'll see what the coaching situation is for the Lions, as well as the quarterback situation.
Barkley or JT?
Definitely Jonathan Taylor. I'm not a Barkley guy. I pulled the trigger this year because I had the second pick, everything everywhere, every expert, it was like, oh yeah, you got to take Saquon. Saquon's going to be good. And I didn't feel good about it. But hey, I overcame. I got second in that one, even after losing Saquon. But no, I like Jonathan Taylor better than Saquon. I like Dobbins better than Saquon.
JT or Davante Adams?
Man, it'll depend on how I'm trying to build my team, the strategy I'm going with. But Davante Adams has just been very, very good.
It's like a cheat code for sure.
With that being said, though, you see guys have those big years, and it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen again next year.
Right.
Case in point, Michael Thomas. Davante Adams, he's stayed pretty healthy this year. He had a couple missed games, but he's a guy that does get banged up, does get hurt. We'll see what... There's going to be a lot of change.
Keep pushing that narrative.
A lot of change in Green Bay. But Adams has been very money this year, for sure.
Derrick Henry, we already mentioned that one. Marvin Jones, 8 for 180 and 2 touchdowns. And he had another one called back.
Showing up. A guy that a lot of us glanced at in DFS and thought,
I like it, but not enough. Brandon Cooks, back from the dead.
Brandon Cooks. He hasn't been dead all year.
in a while.
He's just always flaming and hating on Brandon Cooks.
That was 1,000 yards on 4 different teams.
He's been good.
Yeah. 16 targets will do that for you. A.J. Brown, that same game with the long reception at the end to kind of seal it. 11 for 138 and 2 touchdowns.
Man, A.J. Brown is a tough one because he can have those big games, but he does have some of those vanishing games. Oh, man. Right. I got him as a keeper for cheap this year, and I didn't like having him on my team, if that makes sense. He had very good games, but
just not comfortable with how he got his points.
Yeah, he doesn't get a lot of volume is a big problem with it. Right. So he could have a game where if he doesn't get a touchdown, and to his credit, he's done great at getting into the end zone. And even looking at the stats, like it didn't happen that often, but there's an 8 in there, there's a 3, there's a 10, and the league we played in,
the weeks he didn't score.
The league that we played in was very competitive too. So like if he didn't score that week, you were in trouble. So A.J. Brown, that's my whole take on A.J. Brown.
Well, that offense runs through Derrick Henry.
It does.
And Corey Davis kind of came on.
And it was an interesting stat I heard that like the games, I think the top 5 Derrick Henry games are also like the top 5 Tannehill games. So you would almost expect that, in those games it was just him and the passing, they didn't pass. Not the case. Actually, it opened up the pass.
Into a high scoring affair.
So I thought that was an interesting little tidbit.
Sterling Shepard with Golden Tate out, 8 for 112 and a touchdown.
Can you ever trust Sterling Shepard in a redraft? Like,
I don't think so.
I think I'm out.
So I had him on my team all year, and I never wanted to start him. I just couldn't do it. So
and that's the Giants, I think.
Yeah, Antonio Brown. I think I read it as A.J. Brown stat line. A.J. Brown 10 for 151 and a touchdown. Antonio Brown 11 for 138 and 2 with Evans out.
Antonio Brown. It's like
if Godwin's gone next year,
he's still got some juice.
Where are you taking him if Godwin is gone?
Not as high as other people. I think, again, because I came in probably after the prime. Yeah. But if you ran down
moving him up pretty
his
high.
last couple of weeks, he's looked good. So we'll see. And Tampa Bay is going to be
Lockett or Antonio in the
Brown? Playoffs. Not Lockett.
With Godwin.
I'm out on Lockett. I'm done with Lockett. He won't be on any of my teams. I liked him this year. But, yeah, with the emergence of DK, and they still kind of want to run the ball.
DJ Moore or Antonio Brown?
Probably DJ Moore for me.
Okay.
I'm a little worried about Bridgewater. He's kind of faded a little bit at the end of the season. If Christian comes back, though, we'll see what things look like with him there.
All right. J.K. Dobbins.
13
for 160 and 2.
Oh, I like
Yowzas.
it. I was looking at him hard in the draft, and I was happy that he didn't fall to me, so I didn't have to choose between him and CeeDee Lamb. But Dobbins, I think he's looked very good. I think
really
the Ravens want to run the ball. He is a guy that I will be looking to get in.
That offense just runs the ball so well. I mean, all of their schemes are designed for it. Yeah. You get the running fakes with Lamar in the game all the time. So it really benefits that position.
Yeah, especially, again, they've been giving it to him on the goal line. Ingram's kind of, they're not giving him. He's been a healthy scratch a couple times. So,
and this was kind of a weird game, but the only thing you don't like to see is only 13 rushes and no catches. So
the other thing with Dobbins is he's got that Chubb-like ability to break big runs.
Right.
Like he's got that burst and that speed where he can get away. Exactly, a couple times. So, yeah, Dobbins.
Ooh, that's a bingo.
Yeah, I like him.
Pocket, biggest issue with Baltimore RBs is Lamar stealing carries and goal line.
That's true.
The interesting thing about this game is Lamar had 9 or 10 carries for 97 yards in this game, and still Dobbins put up 160.
Room to run. But also Lamar, I was predicting his
3,
touchdowns. They did come up from last year, but he hasn't rushed in as many as I hoped that he would this year. So they still like to run it on the goal line. They're not just doing the Cam Newton, let's find a way to get Cam the ball.
Yep. Judy, 5 for 140 and a touchdown.
So Judy finally having a good game. Jerry Judy, wide receiver for Denver. They're rookie, highly touted coming into the NFL draft, taken by Denver. Man, Judy, I think that a thing that just keep in mind with him is, again, it is tough for rookies to come in and just be great right away. So if he develops a little more, Cortland Sutton's been out all year, so you were hoping maybe he could kind of be the alpha. He didn't really just grab it where it was like, it's Jerry Judy every time.
Honestly, I think Drew Lock is just not that good.
Drew Lock's not great, but he's not the worst.
He's pretty bad. He's pretty bad.
He's not the best.
I don't have any other backup QBs on my team, and I dropped Drew Lock still.
That's interesting. Just the other thing about him is their strength of schedule was tough all year. If you look back at kind of who they played some tough defenses. So if they get a softer schedule, it'll be interesting to see if Cortland Sutton coming back helps him. Like, it might make him better.
Honestly,
you never know.
I think I'm going to rise Cortland Sutton up some of my boards.
Yeah, Cortland's a guy that you might be able to get because people just...
They were missing him, obviously.
For sure. And
in the off chance they get Stafford or Dalton, Cortland Sutton's just going to get hyper-targeted, I think.
Cortland was going a little low before the injury, in the draft.
I was interested in him this season.
I wasn't super interested, but I think because he was out, because he's coming off an injury, because now people know who Judy is. Some of those other guys, Patrick actually had a pretty good year. Not great for fantasy, but like as far as NFL, he showed up.
Noah Fant was hurt for a while, and Locke was hurt for a little bit. So
again, Gordon should be there next year. His DUI suspension will probably come in next year, so there'll be a couple weeks without him.
Right. Pocket Darren Waller, 9, 117, and 1, top 3 tight end easy next year.
Yeah, I think Darren Waller.
I think it's interesting what they do with Carr, but Darren Waller, still looks good.
Yeah, and with tight ends, his numbers, they kind of speak for themselves. They want to use him.
You just have another year of proof.
Your boy, Brian Edwards, right, of the rookie for the Raiders, got some involvement.
Got
in
a
this
touchdown.
game. Yeah, so
only 2 catches, but
you got him. Good to see
51
that.
yards and a touchdown.
He's a guy that had some hype that people liked. That I was kind of maybe I pry him away from Nick. I know Nick doesn't love him, but
he's not high on my value list.
No, there's a couple guys in that range. So some you kind of know about. Claypool, people heard of this year, but he kind of started to fade. Claypool's the one that I think we both like.
So there's people in the dynasty community that are putting Claypool up there, still in the Jefferson type value category. They are super high on his, his future stonks, if you will. No?
You are fake news.
Nah. I don't
know. I think with Juju out, that's
you don't know what's going to happen with Ben. It sounds
there.
like Ben will be back for one more year, but then what is it going to be? Mason Rudolph's not that great.
No, but if Big Ben is there, dynasty, maybe not, but redraft, you could get a steal late if Claypool's the guy that big body.
He's big, but there's a lot of big guys in the NFL. Speaking of another big guy, Michael Pittman Jr., receiver for Indy. We'll see what happens with T.Y. He had his one good game that I kind of called, and then I was hoping he would blow up, but he didn't, it didn't ever just blow up like I hoped he would, but he's a guy that I'm going to look at.
Yeah.
I actually offered some things for him in Dynasty.
They kind of went the Brown strategy with just running the ball all the time.
Yeah, and, they want to run, and they got a good line, and they got a good running back, so if they stick to that, that's fine, but I think that especially if T.Y.'s gone, and he can be the number one guy, but Pascal came on tough at the end of the year.
Tyler Lockett, 12 for 90 and 2. You said you're done with him.
Yeah. No, I think that just with DK being there were too many games where he disappears, and it was just a DK show. And
even DK hasn't been good.
Yeah, but
I'm going to drop him down a little bit too.
I think that Russ likes to throw it to DK more than he likes to throw it to Lockett now.
Yeah. Mike Williams, 6 for 108 and a touchdown.
So Mike Williams, one of my other DFS guys, got me back in. I ended up 4th, 4 out of 8. So I think Ian was dead last with 3 guys on the IR in his lineup. So
interesting choices from ENR, but
that's all right. Okay. But no, Mike Williams, I think. So I know that you don't like Mike Williams, but I'm going to give you just a reason that you could like him, because I know you like Herbert, and he's basically number 2, obviously the number 2 wide receiver on that team. If you want a share of that offense and you can't pay up for Keenan.
Because it's Keenan Allen, then Eckler, and then Hunter Henry.
Hunter. It's like Hunter and Mike Williams.
But close. That's the problem. That's why you don't want to start either of them.
But Mike Williams, if you remember back, he was another one. There's a handful of 4 or 5 guys that I thought were going low. He was a guy that I thought was going tragically low in drafts.
I don't want to waste any more money on what Mike Williams is supposed to be. It was every year we keep making excuses for Mike Williams. He's not consistent enough to start.
The biggest knock is he gets injured, but I think actually that he's a good player.
In that same value tier, I'd rather take Gabriel Davis.
Good player on a good offense with a good quarterback. That's why I like Mike Williams.
I'd rather take Gabriel Davis.
Probably have Mike Williams. But Mike Williams was another one I had on a team that I would rarely choose
Mike Evans
to
or
play.
Antonio Brown?
So Mike Evans just had an injury. I don't know if there's an official report on what it is yet. To me, it looked like an LCO.
He may be back this week.
He just kind of, his knee buckled out a little bit. So you got that lateral collateral ligament on the outside of your leg that just keeps your leg from basically doing exactly what his leg did.
Hyperextended.
So
Gabriel Davis by a mile for me.
Over who now?
Over Justin Gage.
Yeah, Justin Gage. Not.
Is it Russell Gage?
So let's see. Gage on
I feel like it's Russell Gage.
Falcons?
Yeah. Yeah, it's Russell Gage.
There you go. Nick actually knew a first name of a guy. Amazing. First time ever.
Whatever.
You did it. You did it.
Yeah, no, I'd take
Oh, this is why we keep coming to work every day and just practicing.
Actually, Mike Williams or Curtis Samuel?
I'll take Mike Williams. Curtis Samuel could end up in another spot, but Curtis is another one that's just hard to trust every week because you don't know how much they're going to use him.
Yeah, but
I think Christian being there hurts Curtis Samuel.
But actually a lot more consistent than Mike Williams. I don't know. I'm just not. If Hunter Henry's gone and they don't fill that spot with somebody with a name, then maybe I'd rise him up a little bit, but not really. Whenever Julio sits, he's money. For sure. If Julio sits, I'm okay with flexing Gage anytime. No problem. Just put him in. Justin Jefferson doing it again, 9 for 133.
No touchdown, right?
No touchdown, but as after this game, he had the best rookie season of a wide receiver ever. So
hard to argue with that, I guess.
The best season ever.
I think Justin Jefferson's good. I'll be looking at him in some drafts, hoping that maybe some of the people I play with that aren't
you
paying
put him
as
in the
much attention.
top like 3 or 4.
No, I'm not.
No. Okay.
There's definitely 5 guys that I'd take over him probably.
Tyreek.
Yeah, I'd take Tyreek over him by a lot. DK, yeah, I'd take him over him.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
Still with the Vikings, I don't know how, maybe they shore up their defense. I think they still want to run. If Cook's back, I don't know if they'll have to throw quite as much. It'll be interesting to see. Thielen, I think, is going to be around, but he's getting
26, 17, 26, 32, 10, 23, 14, 27.
It's good. They're good numbers.
Pretty solid. And I don't think Jeff Wilson. I think we might as well mention him.
Jeff Wilson.
20 carries, 76 yards, a touchdown, 3 catches, and another touchdown.
Yeah, their whole backfield this year. So San Francisco always goes in with like 5 running backs, and you're like, oh, this guy's like the 5th on the chart. He's not going to get any play. And if you had grabbed Jeff Wilson in your draft with the last pick, it's like whatever the last guy on the running back core for San Francisco's 5 or 6 running backs, I'm going to throw him on the end of my bench.
I think you mentioned the last one. Whoever's the lead running back for the 49ers is worth starting.
It's just hard sometimes to know who it is. Like, is it a
really,
Jerick McKinnon week? There was a couple Jerick McKinnon weeks. There's a couple Wilson weeks. There's Mostert was always like, he's coming back. He's kind of healthy, and he's not healthy.
The guy who they say they're not starting that because the starter gets hurt anyway. Every game the starter gets hurt, so you only get 2 quarters of production, and it's still good production.
I guess so.
Faking him out with a decoy.
You never know.
But yeah, I just wanted to wrap up. Darren Waller, I'm still okay taking actually him high because he gives you a competitive advantage at the tight end spot.
Yeah,
I'm not saying super high, but he's going to be undervalued.
A lot of teams that were good this year had one of those top 3 tight ends, and again, Kittle just getting hurt. That was that can happen. That's why I liked Kittle this year actually better than Kelsey going in because I thought. A lot of the guys on that team were banged up. He's going to be like basically the number 1 receiver on that team. He's right at the right age. He showed a good skills last year, and he gets hurt though. He has that bruising running style. He looks for the contact. But
this is kind of becoming a thing
of him getting hurt.
Yeah,
So again, it's just I worry about his health. It's hard to go if you're.
I'm probably taking Waller over Kittle.
It sounds right now. But I know when the draft comes and I'm looking at the 2 of them, I'm like, Kittle's there. He's been practicing. He looks healthy. He looks good. The reports are good. Like, Kittle, right?
Yeah.
It'd be tough for me to pick Waller over Kittle if they both have been healthy. But again, Waller's got very good numbers.
Over 100 yards in 4 of the last 5 games.
Yeah, and that's for tight end.
Those are monster games. 55 points from your tight end.
He had 17 targets in that game where he has 55 points.
Yeah.
That was against the Jets. So
he had 16 targets in the game at the beginning.
Little asterisk.
8, 16, 4, 12, 7, 9, 6, 10, 5, 7, 7, 17, 10, 12, 6, 10. Holy moly. I'm fine with Waller.
Great success.
Chase Claypool, 5 for 100 yards and a touchdown, as well as Chenault, 6 for 68 and 2 touchdowns. Some hype there with Trevor Lawrence coming in.
LaVisca. All right, the Warrior.
Do you see what you get when you mess with the Warrior?
Yeah, so Trevor, he hasn't played at all in the NFL yet. Obviously, he's got to get drafted to the team, which
Mike Williams or Chenault?
I like LaVisca. LaVisca's had some injury stuff. He had some hamstring things. That was kind of a knock on him when he was going into the NFL draft, is that he always has those like little injuries that kind of slow him down. Probably for me, Mike Williams, but it wouldn't shock me if LaVisca ends up being one of those like dark horse breakout candidates.
Right.
And I think you might be able to get him both they might be going at different spots because people aren't super familiar with Laviska. He had a good year, but he didn't have a phenomenal year. I think people are going to start looking at Jacksonville, and they have a lot of wide receivers that have shown talent. They've got Shark, they've got Cole, they've got.
I think that's partly because they've had to throw so much because they're always losing.
I saw D.D. Westbrook trending as one of the guys who was getting picked up towards the end of the year.
Honestly,
he's been on the IR.
I think I'm not buying. I'm just not going to buy into the Jacksonville
team
at all. I don't want any Jacksonville pieces at all.
I'm going to gamble if they're going late, which I think they will be.
There's other guys I like more. I just can't do it.
Laviska will be on one of my teams.
Too many unknowns. And Alexander Madison. 21 for 95, a touchdown, a few catches, and another touchdown.
Did you start him in DFS?
I did.
All right. So he was one that I plugged in for a while and was looking at, and had a very good game. Had a touchdown, a couple receptions. I think he's still a very valuable handcuff. And this, for the people that weren't paying attention, maybe your league finished up week 16 and you weren't paying attention to the fantasy numbers, and people are just remembering that one game that he got the chance where he didn't perform. You might be able to get Alexander Madison pretty late as a good guy to throw on your bench because Dalvin Cook was pretty healthy this year, but there were like 4 or 5 games where I was like, oh, he looks injured. Is he injured? He's on the side. All right, he's bad. He's okay.
Everything's fine.
I'd be impressed if Dalvin Cook made it through another year, and he put a lot of miles on his body this year.
So go playoffs. Exactly.
The playoffs.
Exactly.
And who's in the playoffs? The Bears. Sneaking in the back door.
Somehow.
Who's the bald guy? Yeah, I got the quarantine cut going today. So
the quarantine cut? Is that what we're going with?
Had daughters, lost all my hair overnight. It happened.
All right, so your fantasy points leader of the season, Alvin Kamara with a 6 touchdown game. That'll kind of do it. Yeah, 387 points. I'm not sure if this does count in week 17. So I don't really believe this metric fully, but it's fine. Devontae Adams 362. Tyreek Hill number 3. Dalvin Cook 4. Derrick Henry 5. Stephon Diggs 6, Kelsey 7. Kelsey 7. I mean, that is
very good. Again,
unbelievable.
Getting a little bit up there in age. I think he's north of 30. So
right, but you only have 3 wide receivers above him.
Yeah, no, it's pretty impressive.
Wow. DeAndre Hopkins, Ridley, and Waller are your top 10. I mean, Darren Waller, top 10 among all players.
One of the guys I was right about, a guy that I liked a lot this year, Julio. When Julio's out, he's good. When Julio's in, he's still pretty good. He finds the end zone.
Yep.
He stayed pretty healthy all year, too. That was a big thing with Ridley. He's had some injuries the past couple of years, but they're usually misses a week or 2 here or there.
Well, and he's still good for some long touchdowns.
So Calvin is just going to go high next year, and that's the problem is, I liked him because I could get him in the 4th round, and now...
But that's okay because he's good enough.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Atlanta wants to throw the ball. We'll see what happens with their running back room, but they were just definitely it was the same situation this year for them as I thought it was Tampa Bay with Jameis Winston. It's like their running backs aren't doing great. They want to throw the ball. They're just going to throw, I think I want to say that Atlanta was in the top 3 for passing attempts last year. I haven't checked it this year, but I would assume it's up
their defense is getting better, but it's still not.
Yeah, and that's another big thing is if you got a good quarterback and a good offense and a bad defense, that's the recipe for fantasy points.
Emphasizes his Bears playoff beard. There it is.
There you go. So I had to shave down the and I went back to work today, so I had to get everything. I kind of looking a little bit grizzly, but now we got the Bears playoff beard. So
Go Bears!
Man, we talked about it before you're in here, but definitely hurts to lose to Green Bay. They stuck with them. The opening drive was nice. But they you just feel like they don't have what it's going to take to put together any kind of big run here.
We know they don't have what it takes.
The Bears are who we thought they were.
The biggest problem is the defense isn't elite. They just haven't shown any, willingness to stop any offensive front lately. Have you seen that before? Some weird happening in my ESPN Fantasy Final. The Washington game ended and I lost 299.94 to 305. And today I went in the app and it gave me first place 1-2. So yeah, it was probably just a stat correction of some type. 5 points though.
Generally you'll see 1 to 2 points. You've said that there's been a couple times they see 5 or 6. You probably find if you did some research exactly what the play that they changed from that game.
Yeah, well, you mentioned in one league if a defense gives up so many yards, they drop 5 points. So it could have been right on the cusp of 400 yards or 500 yards, and they end up giving them 1 or 2 more, which really flip flop those points.
So the Bills' defense special team lost the touchdown is what Banjo thinks. So that's
interesting.
Yeah, and that'll make a big difference.
Yeah, so that and maybe a sack given away would make up that difference. So that could be true.
Yeah, but the Bears game with Kamara, it sounds like he should be able to come back from the COVID list.
Right.
Like the time frame, like because it's a Sunday game, it just gives him enough time. But he tested positive, so if he doesn't get those tests, we'll see what happens. But generally, they think he's going to play.
The Saints have shown some weaknesses during the season, so I don't think it's.
Well, the Bears lose to him once in the regular season in overtime. I think that's right. You'd have to check it, but they're not unbeatable.
I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that the Bears will actually be competitive in this game.
And if Nick says it, it's actually true. If I say it, it's blind optimism. But Drew Brees is looking old. Michael Thomas is out, right? He's not going to be back, I don't believe.
Look like it.
No, that they won that last game that they just played, though, so that put pressure on the Packers, who did need to win to get
they beat Carolina
number 1
33-7.
So the Packers, your number 1 seed.
Cram it up your cram hole, Floyd.
In the NFC, and man, the Packers they've looked good. They're going to be tough to beat, and going to Lambeau. Like
the Saints lost to Philly. How does that happen?
So again, I definitely think that again the Bears can show up if they can play well. They can't turn the ball over. It's the same old kind of cliche stuff, but can't get penalties, can't turn the ball over. They're not a good enough team to make up.
You
got
to get some turnovers for sure,
but. No, their offense, Mitch putting up over 200 yards passing again. So
Big Mama's handing out biscuits.
if he can kind of keep going, he had one bad interception, but we'll see what happens. I'm excited to watch that game. It's just you and I both in the Discord. We weren't like, yeah, Bears make the playoffs. We're just like, oh, they lost, and they're not that good.
Now we're gonna get embarrassed.
This is the worst.
Yeah. Well, the problem is now we have like one of the biggest opening lines. We're like plus 9.5. That's
as time has
rough.
gone on, though. Like the sting of the Packers losses diminished a little, and like, okay, we at least get to watch a playoff game with the Bears has gone up a little for me. So
yeah, I mean. At least you made the playoffs. If you're going to tank your draft stock this much, a few picks isn't really going to make that much of a difference. Might as well get a shot in the playoffs.
Yeah. So it was also an interesting thing is I was watching that game. Somebody I wanted to kind of keep an eye on was A.J. Dillon. Didn't get a lot of play in that game. Jamal Williams was back, and he was in for a couple series. So just a little note.
Aaron Jones had 11 carries.
Did get into the end zone.
Aaron Jones finishing a little low. He did miss a couple games for an injury, but I mean, not a spectacular season.
Yeah,
it's still a good one.
The other thing about Aaron Jones is I believe, and you might disagree, but I believe they've kind of been saving him because they've been up in a lot of games. They had a couple that have been close, but the whole season it's just kind of felt like, all right, we're just kind of take it easy on him. We're not going to use him up too much.
Right. Well, you took Aaron Jones top 4, probably top 3 maybe, and he finished around 7 or 8. So you did lose a little bit of value in that pick, but. He still had a good year.
Yeah,
and
stayed healthy for the majority of it.
You're right, though. It didn't seem like they wanted to, Christian McCaffrey him with 30 touches a game.
He wasn't a world beater, but he was still good. And I think that they do like their other running backs on that team.
And honestly, Davante Adams had such a good year.
We're talking before the show.
They
Aaron Jones. I
first.
just offered Aaron Jones for J.K. Dobbins for a trade in Dynasty. And I'd be pretty happy if that one went through. I don't think it will.
It sounds crazy, though, doesn't it?
To an extent. I think that people are starting, Dobbins, if you took him in Dynasty, you had to take him high in your rookie draft. So there's a piece of that goes into your kind of like, man, I'd like to trade this guy away, but I took him with like the second pick in the rookie draft. So, that like you had to buy into him there.
Right.
And we talked about in Dynasty, like you get the guys, you pick the guys, you trade for the guys that you like, that you want. So if you have them on your team,
and I think it makes sense with a little bit of uncertainty with where Aaron Jones is going to go. I mean, we don't know that answer yet.
Because in redraft, a lot of times you can do a draft and it's just like, like Amari Cooper for me. It's like he's there, like he's probably good value. I don't love him, but I'm just going to take him. So like there, it's like, okay, I'm more willing to trade that guy because I just kind of took him because I knew I recognize the value, but I don't like him. Whereas Dynasty, it's like, I like these guys that I've got for the most part.
And it's long term. If something happens to him, you're completely sunk on that value. It's just gone.
Aaron Jones could honestly be a guy that like you could squeeze 2 real good years out of, and then it could be done. Where Dobbins, I think you probably.
But J.K. Dobbins, the situation.
Yeah.
You know what the output is capable of. Aaron Jones, like you said, if Aaron Jones goes to the Jets, his value will be half.
Yeah, again,
it'll just be half.
The Jets, you don't want to be the Jets. The Jets.
And honestly, they're putting together.
Last night, they just plain sucked.
If they
I've seen teams suck before, but they were the suckiest bunch of sucks that ever sucked.
If
Jones doesn't stay healthy.
Well, the thing about if Jones doesn't stay is like A.J. Dillon and Jamal Williams, I think, are very capable.
I agree. That won't be what holds them back.
No, I don't think so. And again, they're not a team that necessarily pounds the ball running all the time. They just rely on Rodgers, who again finishes the highest fantasy, football quarterback on the year.
It's the opposite situation for the Packers. The passing attack keeps the running lanes open. It's the same way. They have to drop more people in coverage to cover all the wide receivers, and you can get a little bit better running attack going. So
You done messed up, Aaron!
Aaron.
Damn that complimentary football.
Didn't mess up. He was really good.
He was really good.
Just go double check.
Yeah.
Hey, Rodgers.
Disappointingly good. I think Dillon would be better than Williams. It's just a different type of running back. If you need a hard 2 yards, I'm throwing Dillon in there every time.
Well, they could be good together, really.
Absolutely. And honestly, they fit the, AB type running back scheme that a lot of people are going with.
Yep.
And honestly, if they want somebody to fill the Aaron Jones role, they can just draft it instead of paying $12 million for it.
That does make sense. They need to draft some wide receivers. They'll probably take a quarterback with their first pick, you'd imagine, right?
I don't know what they're going to do.
It was just everyone
can't do
all
it again,
celebrating just the horrible moves they made, and now the running back's good. The quarterback will probably be good after.
Yeah, but imagine if they would have taken another wide receiver. Maybe the offense is even better.
Does it need to be? I don't even know.
I don't know. Imagine if they would have gotten an offensive line. I don't know. I know it wasn't a great offensive line draft, but
no thanks. But Bakhtiari out.
Minor here. Man, it's getting weird in the chat again.
All right,
it's all about El Paso. All right,
that's fine. It's Monday night.
Let's get weird.
Yeah. Jonathan Taylor finishing in the top 20 after a really abysmal middle of the season, but to finish the year 22, 37, 19, 21, 50.
Yeah, it's trending in the right direction. I think that hopefully if you're in some leagues where people weren't kind of, like you said, at the end of the year, it gets a little bit of fatigue. It's a long season.
Yep.
And if people kind of stop paying attention and realizing that was how he ended the year, I think that Jonathan Taylor could be a guy that maybe if you could get him in the third, I feel great. Like if I could go Travis Kelce, J.K. Dobbins, Jonathan Taylor. That's my
that's your list.
I like it a lot.
Yeah, no, I think that's fair. We're gonna get some more rookies coming in too. These rookie running backs have really been panning out.
The hype is starting. You getting on the train?
Well, I mean, you got Akers doesn't look terrible, and they've shown a willingness to use them. Hell yeah picks up same what? Oh, the UTEP minor. I don't know what's going on in the chat. It's fine. But yeah, no, the rookie running backs are panning out. J.K. Dobbins looks good. Yeah. Jonathan Taylor looks good. CH, we'll see.
When you made the statement a second, I thought you meant like also the new incoming set of rookies. Is that what you're?
That's what I mean. Okay. They're kind of showing the path that
these guys
you can kind of plug and play them, and you can draft them high. It's okay.
Yeah. Again, Miami would be one that it wouldn't shock me if they drafted a good running back prospect in the draft.
Najee Harris coming out looks really good. If he goes to the Steelers or Miami, one of those high end spots.
Yeah, I think if you could get a guy who could take over as the main back for the Steelers, that's probably the most valuable spot. Miami, again, we've talked about that. We like that a lot. Jacksonville, I don't know, man. I think that I was actually looking at Robinson's stats, and they're great. Like they're very, very good.
He is very good,
and they might go with him.
He's been very good. I don't think they can.
It's been over the course of a year with a bad quarterback and a bad, everything's been bad, and he's still good. If they can put together a couple of things, if they get a good quarterback in there, if they get the offense going. I like James Robinson. I actually might draft James Robinson. As much as I dislike Philip Lindsay for all the same reasons as James Robinson. The problem
with Robinson is all the red flags are there. You're going to have to pay a draft premium because of the season he had, and I am not comfortable with the cost. You won't be on my team. I'm not.
We'll see how it shakes out. If they don't take any other running backs, so like nobody big in the draft, if they spend a 5th or later round pick and they don't get somebody in free agency, I'm going to be pretty high on him.
He's still completely off my board.
All right.
I'm taking him off.
And I get that. That's fine. We each have some times where there's guys that we acknowledge they could be very good again, but just not my kind of guy.
Honestly, I think it's probably likely that he puts up another, top 15 performance, but it just won't be on my team.
This is not my kind of guy.
All right.
He is not. You going to stream during the playoff games? Yeah, I'm not sure what do you want to do for Sunday? We'll do it. We'll go on Sunday, same time maybe.
Considered Greg Nord, a fan of the show, and my brother bought a house. I was thinking about, this might be the last kind of week where we're working virtually. I might try and get down there, but so let's see. We'll have Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
What's the earliest one? Do you know?
I think they both start around noon. Let's see.
Let me see. I think I've got it right here. So it looks like the wild card, yeah. It looks like you got the 12 o'clock game, and the latest one you get is like the 7:15 game.
Right.
You know what? We'll have to look at it. We'll have to talk about it, talk to my brother, but we will do.
What game do we want to watch?
A game. That's a good question as well. Cleveland, Pittsburgh. Do you want to watch Pittsburgh just beat up on the Browns?
Honestly, I kind of want to see the Colts-Bills game.
I like watching the Bills. I like the Tennessee Titans. Rams, Seattle would be probably my no vote. Washington. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm still getting a couple.
What game would you guys like to kind of follow along with while we stream?
Not Indy, Buffalo. Tampa Bay? We just watched Tom throwing the ball all over the
Tom
room.
versus Alex Smith? Plus, it's at night. That's a lot.
However, though, like Washington, Tom's a little bit not great against teams that get big pressure, that hit the quarterback. And Washington, like that's probably their best asset is their ability to rush.
Right.
Chase Young, their rookie lineman, has been very
Lockett
good.
says Bears, New Orleans.
Oh, no, I can't do that. It's too soon. It's too soon.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Browns, Pittsburgh.
Like, I don't know if we would. I don't like some of our regulars would like watching us, but it would just be an awful stream of just me like
but
would you losing my mind and Nick being over it?
Would you want to come on after the Bears loss?
Probably. And then you could just rant.
You want to do the 7:15 stream for Brown Steelers? That's probably the best game.
But no, not the. Yeah, and that's on Sunday or Saturday.
Sunday night.
Sunday night we might. Yeah.
You'll probably be back in town
probably
by then.
what we'll be leaning towards.
Yeah.
Is the Saturday or the Sunday night.
Not the Rams because they suck. The Rams suck. Yes.
Well,
the Rams
we'll
suck.
see if Goff gets back. He's got the finger injury.
The Colts are going to get exposed this week. They're fakers. They're not good. They're going to get blown out.
See the Rams or the Colts?
No, the Colts.
The Colts?
Well, the Rams too.
The Bills have been very good. So let's pick the winners just right now if we go through them. So,
honestly, the winners are pretty easy for me.
All right, so I'll take the Bills over the Colts. I'll take the Buccaneers over Washington. I'll take the Bears over the Saints. It's happening.
Okay.
Seahawks over the Rams. Ravens over the Titans in a close one. You might, I don't know, people might pick the Titans. The Titans are good, but I'm going to take the Ravens. And the last one, I'll go Steelers over the Browns.
I'm going to have pretty similar here. That Colts defense, though. No, Bills by...
So the Colts defense has actually been fading in the second half of the year. Their stats, if you look at the first half versus second half, they've given up a lot more as far as fantasy production. And
Bills by 2 touchdowns. I think it's at least double digits. The Bills are just going to run all over them. I don't think it's going to happen. And
whatever, I do what I want.
It's going to have to come down to Rivers throwing because the Bills are going to put up a lot of points in the first half, and that's just not their strong suit. And I think they're going to fade. So I'm out on the Colts for sure. Buccaneers they're going to beat Washington pretty handily. The Saints are going to beat the Bears, but I think it'll be closer than people expect.
We're doing a wild card DraftKings. Yep, and you're setting it up, Mark.
And you're
get out of it, please.
Get to work. Let's do it.
So, again, another thing, now's the time. So, Washington, they make the playoffs because the Eagles pull Jalen Hurts and tank. They throw in Sudfeld, not the Studfeld.
Wow, what a mess.
And he just instantly throws an interception. He fumbles one away.
Yeah.
So, I've, again, been lamenting the Bears' loss while also simultaneously celebrating their playoff berth. So, I wasn't 100% sure. I thought that the Eagles still had a chance to make the playoffs. So, my initial reaction was like, what are you doing? This is just an awful coaching decision. Do you feel like this? And then as I read a little, oh, okay, so they're definitely eliminated. And this will increase their pick by 3 and screw, division rival the Giants.
It makes
it made more sense, but still, it's pretty Bush League.
It's kind of petty.
It's super petty.
Exactly.
To an extent, I get it, but you're trying to man, Hurts. You're just watching him
Hurts
stand
didn't look
there.
great either, though. I mean,
you're watching him stand there on the side though, and it's he wants to be out there, the competitor, and you I'm a competitive guy. Yeah, just watching this, I'm playing all of these, and I so hard. If I'm out for the playoffs, I'm still definitely in there trying to win the matchups or doing the full tank to win next year. But I'm looking for the competitive edge. I'm trying to it's just a bad look for your team. And then the part that I have the biggest problem with is Peterson goes out there and he's like, oh yeah, we were still trying to win the game. No, you weren't. Everybody in the world knows you weren't. Obviously, you thought that Sudfeld, I just wish they had pushed him more. Like, you thought that Sudfeld gave you the better chance. The guy that's been here for 4 years hasn't played a snap.
No,
you thought he was going to be better than Hurts.
And he was so bad.
Doing, just set the world on fire to an extent.
I tell you what, though, Hurts kind of looked like Michael Vick light there for a while.
He should have gone out there, dropped the F-bomb, F New York, screw you guys, we'll enjoy our higher pick. Of course we were trying to lose. At least then you could respect it. So... He didn't do that, but...
It'd be a lot cooler if he did.
Man. Feel bad for Fitzmagic. Fitzmagic to the Bears?
He actually would be the exact right guy to have on the Bears. He's just super old now, but let's get him and Jameis, and we'll just do the bouncing quarterback back and forth. We're just going to send it.
As long as they combine for 30 touchdowns, I don't care.
Man, Mitch in that game, he looked pretty good, but it's just not enough.
It's not exciting football. It's not watchable.
The Bears right now are a team that can beat bad teams. We finally hit that level.
When they were putting up 30 points, watchable football. This game, not watchable football. I don't like it. I'm going to pick the rest of these. I'm taking the Seahawks. I'm going to take the Titans over the Ravens.
All right.
I think that it's close. And then, I think Steelers over the Browns still.
Yeah, I think the Ravens are hungry from last year. They made it. They got knocked out by the Titans. The storyline of that game is a fun storyline of the kind of the revenge of last year. It's hard to.
I wouldn't bet this game because I think it's maybe slightly more likely that the Ravens win this, but Derrick Henry is tough to stop, and I want the Titans to win more. So
it's interesting, just because you like Henry, or
I like Henry, and I like that their offense plays a little bit different than other people.
I like Lamar.
Not that. I just don't like Lamar.
Although I drafted Lamar too high and he let me down for fantasy purposes, I still like Lamar.
I don't like Lamar.
I think he's fun to watch run around.
Yeah, I wish they threw the ball more. But he can't throw.
Running's fun.
And Hollywood Brown can't catch.
Hollywood, he's getting it together. He's had some decent fantasy performances there.
The Titans' offense is just a little bit more exciting, and Derrick Henry is just fun to watch.
I don't think the Titans' offense is that exciting. The only thing that's fun for the Titans to watch is when Derrick Henry just stiff arms guys.
They had the most
straight to their graves.
They had the most 40-plus touchdowns on the year. I would have to imagine. They had so many 40-plus yard touchdowns. No, let's look it up. I don't even know where to look that stat up, but it's got to be a thing.
I don't know, man. One big play. You want to watch a whole game for that one big play? I'd rather see
one. They had tons.
The electrifying Lamar. No one's going to beat Kansas City, at least in the AFC. Kansas City, they got beat by the Raiders earlier in the season. They, their last game that they played was a close one. The Chargers almost beat them. They haven't looked invulnerable. If you actually watched all their games and paid close attention, I do have Patty Mahomes, my dynasty QB, resting up, getting healthy. But I don't know, man. Just any given Sunday, any team can beat another team. Just probably not the Bears over Kansas City, but hey, you're telling me there's a chance? All
right, Tannehill threw 4 40-plus yard touchdowns.
All right.
So there you go. He wasn't at the top.
7 guys did it ahead of him.
Yep. 6
Derek Carr up there on the list. That's interesting. That's a fun fact for you.
Nelson Aguilar caught most of those.
Okay, there was that big one to beat the Jets and keep their Trevor dreams alive, and then they decided to go on and blow it again by winning 2 games.
You blew it!
Oh, but hey.
Brutal.
They got wins, so I don't know.
And Derrick Henry had 2. So
I'm sitting here flaming the Eagles for not for tanking and then the Jets for not tanking. So I don't know. It's all subjective. I don't know what I'm talking about.
It's a fickle mistress, this fantasy football.
It truly is.
All right, let's. I want to take a quick look at.
This is fun.
The rookies coming in.
No,
you don't want to take a quick glance at the rookies?
Some names. All
right, some people to become familiar with here as we go to. I mean, the next big thing after the Super Bowl.
Marcy complaining that she didn't see Tannehill's wife that whole game. You can Google her. There are pictures.
It's okay. Yeah, you can even print pictures off if you want to.
We got some names of some other ladies you can probably look up.
We're going to talk about Josh Jacobs.
Yeah, Josh Jacobs gets a DUI. Josh Jacobs already on my don't like you list for the trolling.
He'll probably miss 4 games, and you can probably get him for a little bit cheaper.
He'll miss 2 to 3. Again, it sounds like he hasn't been officially arraigned or whatever.
It's not good. It's not right, but it is what it is.
Josh Jacobs again. I don't know. He seems like a guy that would get a DUI. I don't know.
Okay, he's injury prone. You can get those in the chat. again, Josh Jacobs is just one of those guys I'm not going to invest in. I don't know
why.
I
took the chance this year. I hope to get more involved in the passing game. I hope to get a couple more red zone touches. He's had some bright flashes. Like, he runs hard. He's a tough guy, but doesn't seem to, didn't make a good choice with the DUI. But
in the chat, Elway is stepping away as GM of the Broncos. Well,
yeah, that was news today. He's still going to be in the office. He's going to be around, but you got to think that helps. He hasn't made a good GM as far as picking quarterbacks. They picked 15 quarterbacks.
The defense has always been strong, and the offense has struggled.
Bears-esque in their picking of quarterbacks.
Honestly, the spot he left the team in is pretty good, though. I think they're on the up. The defensive coach is
They've got good pieces.
Well.
They underachieved this year. They missed the playoffs.
Fangio
is an okay coach.
I think, again, if they get Stafford in there, I think Stafford is underrated as far as quarterbacks go. If he can stay healthy and come into a decent offense.
I don't think you can under stress how much probably losing Cortland Sutton changed things for them this year. He was going to be their focal point. He was going to be their number one wide receiver. He was a young guy that was showing promise.
Yeah.
Got hurt before the season. Then they played through it a little bit. Got hurt again. Was out for the season. So it'll be interesting to see what that team looks like with him back.
Get him away.
Drew Lock to the Bears. Nah, I'm not a Drew Lock guy.
Mitch to the Broncos. Somebody can take him. We don't want him.
Yeah.
Welcome in, Banjo.
No, we Colts, Mitch to the Colts. He'll be good there probably.
I've seen Jacoby Brissett to the Bears now.
Nah, I don't like that. Don't want that. Unless they have him just to mentor the new rookie that we get to make him a top quarterback. Which it sounds like he does everywhere.
Some rookies to start becoming familiar with. Naji Harris, which I think has kind of moved to the number one spot here. Running back for Alabama. A couple huge rushing performances, jumping over defenders. Like I said, if he goes to one of those premium spots in the Steelers offense or Miami, he could honestly be a top 2-round pick in this upcoming draft.
Yeah, I know. So a lot of good names in this draft, and again, he had kind of the limited, goofy season, so that might have kind of impacted how much we got to see new players emerge and things like that. But hey, NFL, we need more players.
We need more dogs.
Yeah, he's 6'1", Derrick Henry-esque, and just kind of a bruiser. So interested to see where he goes. Travis Etienne, running back for Clemson, he's going to go probably in the top 2 rounds of the NFL draft as well. Looking to go in one of those higher end spots. Hopefully one of those pans out. I mean, I hope the Jets don't ruin either of these two players.
No, that could happen.
They probably will. And then Jamar Chase is going to be your number one wide receiver. He did sit out this year because of the COVID, but
I've heard of Jamar. So these are the guys I've heard of.
And then Devontae Smith has been moving up the board too. A really good senior season. The knock on him is he's super, super skinny. So waiting for the combine to see what happens there. But Devontae Smith could end up being a difference maker. Zach Wilson, BYU QB, will be the best QB in the draft. Pockets intuition.
Oh, that's a hot take.
Oh, hot.
I've seen this though because I think he's the rawest of the quarterbacks, but
the rawest of them all.
I've seen that there is some hype going around Zach Wilson, and I think he's kind of maybe falling a little bit in the draft to the later single digit.
All right,
picks. So
let Zach cook. All right, let's do it.
And then the last one that I think is going to become a popular name is Javonte Williams, who's on here at number 8 according to the list, but he's rising up boards. Really good running back for North Carolina. So we'll see where he ends up because that's another one that could be pretty interesting in the right situation. So a couple names to keep an eye on. We'll see how it goes.
I'm going to get one for show. I'm getting that for show.
I'm not because my draft picks are lower.
But we can make a deal. Would you like to make a deal?
I'll give you, if I just gave you Aaron Jones for the 1, you wouldn't do that, would you?
Depending on where he signs. If he signs with Green Bay, I would.
Ooh, I'd think about it. I don't know. I gotta get the. I'm not on the train yet.
That's fine.
I gotta get the hype. I gotta watch the videos.
Can I trade for a player that I already traded away before?
Yeah, of course. That's it. It's completely and totally legal. I think you're gonna get Zeke back. You can get Jones back. Mixon will be back. Whole team's here.
I might offer it straight up for Zeke. Is that crazy?
Yeah. No, well, again, so the thing about the picks is any of these guys can come in and it can just not work out. So that happens.
Yeah.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the number 1 pick. Everybody thought he was going to burn the world down. He's going to be phenomenal. You can't miss. Kansas City's going to have 1,000 touchdowns. Came in a good year, but not better than, let's say, Dak and Zeke.
Right. No, not at all.
Yeah.
If the Bears win on Sunday, will Mike do the curly shuffle on stream?
I don't know that, like, the angles of everything. We'd have to have Nick hold up the camera. I'm not a big curly shuffle guy. I'm trying to think what my go-to dance. Two-step. Just keep it tight. Keep it tight.
Yeah. I think he just does the dice thing too much.
I could. I think I still can do a front handspring, though. So we can bust that out.
We might have to videotape this. So we kind of almost have a standing bet where in my basement there's a small window.
It's pretty small.
That I bet him that he couldn't fit through it. So right above it's like a little storm drain. So you have to climb through it and up.
It's the curve that would make it hard. So I think if you just gave me that same size box, I could definitely work my body through. But you got to curve and go up.
There's just no way you're fitting through this opening.
There's like a metal ridge. Again,
there is no way.
I think if it was life and death,
fitting through this
I could physically make it through. But it's also
no
high.
way.
So I'd have to work out a system of ladders because you got to go in like
it's all he's got.
Facing up on your back, like through, and then kind of sit up and.
There's just no chance. Okay, so and then on top of this,
again, my wife never thinks I can do anything. She just thinks I'm a moron, and she looked at it and she's like, "You might be able to make it." So again, that's maybe what's giving me the most confidence. If she didn't think I could make it, like even if it was a foot where I was going to make it by, she'd be like, "Nah, you can't make it."
So then the other part of the bet was I saw on Reddit, go figure. The loser of the league every year had to eat as many hot dogs as Joey Chestnut ate at the Nathan's hot dog eating contest, and he had a week to do it.
A week. I 100% like.
So we shortened it to what, 3 days? I think for you.
What is it, like 70 hot dogs?
70 hot dogs.
I could eat 70 hot dogs in a week, like especially if I'm trying.
I'm
also a guy that like can eat the same food every day all the time. So I'll make a giant pot of something and just.
I told him I'd give him cash if he could go through the window and eat 70 hot dogs in 3 days. So we'll see if we can work.
I don't know if I can pull that out, but
so gross to be burping up for days. Yeah, no, it would be. You
can have ketchup though, like you have condiments. Like it's not like you can only eat just plain hot dog with nothing else.
That's so many hot dogs.
I could eat that many hot dogs. You just have 3 every meal. So let's see. I'm trying to work out the
3 every meal. You'd have to double that.
All right, so you said 6 every meal. 6 is a lot more, but you could have an extra meal
and then some more.
I'd have to work out the math. I could do it. I'm actually going to work out the math.
You'd have to eat 7 of them.
So we're calling it 70
4 times a day.
I think he eats more than that even, but we're going to call it 70.
7 hot dogs 4 times a day for 3 days.
70 divided by 7. You got to eat 10 a day. Yeah, I should have been able to do that math.
No, we shortened it to 3 days for the challenge.
3 days. You don't
3
get a
days
week
for the challenge. No, so you have to do basically 25 a day.
That's much tougher. I thought we were still on the week. So
no. So you have to eat nine for 3 meals or like 7 for 4 meals.
23 hot dogs a day.
Yeah.
All right, let's see.
3 days, then call a plumber.
You got to eat like 6 over the course of 4 meals. If it was life and death or like money on the line, I think I could do it.
That's a lot.
I don't think it'd be fun.
That's a lot of dogs.
A week I could do it without even trying.
See, Banjo said all with buns. I told him probably he didn't have to do buns.
No, you don't have to eat the bun. But again, some of them I would put a bun on, or like I'd have some other stuff in there.
Yeah, no, I think I'd give him the benefit of the doubt with the no bunners.
I should just go full keto, only hot dogs. But I want the ketchup though. And I think that's non-keto.
Oh man.
All right, where are we? Are we talking about football?
No, I think it's fair to talk about other sports bets with this.
This season the regular season's come to a close.
They're athletics.
We got to figure out a way to keep it interesting for the people.
I'd put money that he couldn't do it. See, you could raise more funds doing this.
3 days puts it right on the edge of like, if it was 4, I think I'm pretty all in. 3 makes it tougher.
I don't think it's the volume of that taste. I don't think you could get down. It's not the physical volume of the actual.
I could put stuff on it though. Like you could have one with ketchup. Like, I'm not a mustard guy, but I'm honestly like I can eat the same thing over and over and over. Like I've had, like I'd be fine.
Well, do you want to start wrapping up, or you want to go over the maybe potential first round draft of 2021 for fantasy football?
No, we'll hold off on that one.
Chocolate dogs. Oh. Dip them in chocolate, some fondue chocolate.
No, but again, like nacho cheese, I think that'd be all right. Like, I think of some things. 70 in 3 days puts it right at that line, though. Like, all right, you'd be pushing yourself.
It wouldn't be fun.
It wouldn't be fun.
Chili cheese dogs.
Chili cheese dog, I'd be down for that. But if you got to put down 6, then it starts to get into the point of like you can't add too much heavy condiment where it's gonna be too filling. I don't know. And just to have 70 and prepare them. Like you
I think we would
make 70 all at once.
We'd have to film this, right?
It'd be like a 3-day process. No, I'm not pureeing. I'm not drinking hot dog. I'm making I think it's in that chili cheese dog, ketchup.
Would you rather do that, or would you rather have your whole family eat 100 in 4 days?
My brother and I could eat 100.
No, your household, your wife and kids.
Oh, with them? No, the little ones don't put up numbers yet. Those are rookie numbers. No, they're petite ladies. They don't have my build yet. So hopefully they avoid it till after they've netted a husband.
Man. Rob it once and you lose. Yeah, you can't throw them back up.
No. I'd be all right.
I don't know how Joey does it. Joey is insane. So I've seen some of those videos.
A machine.
Their process is unbelievable. And really, for them, it's about being super ripped, because the less body fat you have, the more your stomach can expand. And man, do they,
you know what it's called? It's called
they throw
winning.
them down.
It's called being a champion.
I was watching the exercises he does with his neck and his jaw, and he was the first guy to take it to that level of seriousness. I watched the whole documentary. It's fascinating in a way, but him and Kobayashi bringing it back to America. No one can glutton like America can glutton. USA.
It is a little hard to watch sometimes because man, they are eating.
It looks like
so
it hurts.
Many of them.
Yeah, and they're pushing it it can't be a fun feeling. I like to eat too much too.
Yeah.
But
I think even the women that were in the competition were putting up 50.
Oh
or
yeah.
60.
No, they were putting.
they were crushing it too.
No,
I couldn't do it.
But again, it's amazing what you can push the human body to. It would be interesting just to see 70 hot dogs mashed up. What's the smallest volume you could compact it down to? It's got to be basketball size.
If you go to Costco, it's got to be. You could probably get 70 in a package. No.
Oh, you can get 1,000 in a package at Costco. I went to Costco. It's why? Why Costco?
Why can I buy this?
Because America. That's why.
Yeah. You know what? And we buy it too. We buy it. I'll be damned.
That's because people are making wagers like this, just day in and day out.
9 per meal for 3 days is 71. Yeah. How many did he put away this year?
Well, I added a 4th meal. So
Joey Chestnut, total dogs.
It's got to be 83. I guess 83. Over or under?
83, it's got to be under.
I'd take the over.
75.
75 in 10 minutes.
Study
too.
says only 85 is humanly possible. How do you get that number? How do you get that number? All right, so you got to eat 75 or 3 days.
Again, I imagine they measured the full volume that they can expand a stomach to.
Can you eat 5 meals of 5 hot dogs for 3 straight days?
5 meals of 5 hot dogs for 3 days. 3 days is, again, 4, probably. 3, probably if I had to, but I'm not it's not a bet that I'm oh yeah, I'm going to take that for low money.
So if you slept 8 hours, you got to eat 5 hot dogs every 3 hours.
If you had to do, all right,
that's a lot of dogs. If you had
to eat 70 hot dogs in 3 days or go 5 minutes in again, let's call it 3 minutes in a ring with Mike Tyson.
Oh, I'd go hot dogs. I'd get the dogs down.
I think 3 minutes to just try and survive.
I
could run away.
I just wouldn't. Yeah, I just wouldn't do it for that amount of money. It would take a lot of money for me to try and throw it on 70.
Fair enough.
Alrighty, well, so let's start wrapping this up. If anybody's got any final questions for us, we'll probably be on Sunday night for the Steelers Browns game.
Yeah,
it'll be a fun one to watch.
We'll post in our multiple.
That's what I'm saying,
medias.
Pocket. Mike would be sick of him by 5 p.m. the first day. I don't even want to let you know how he eats his Taco Bell. It's you don't even want to know.
It's a competitive eater level of speed. I just don't know if I can put away the volume.
Yeah. No, I get it. Alrighty. Well, Marcio, why don't you post a Discord link if we have any new viewers in here? If you haven't already hit the follow, why don't you hit the follow, hang out with us again?
Don't be scared.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we do it again, which is going to be Sunday.
If you join the Discord, Marcio's going to get on making the DFS room, so all are welcome there. You just have to have your FanDuel subscription and some cash in your account there and be in a state that allows the app
Not
to
FanDuel,
work.
it's DraftKings.
Oh, DraftKings, pardon me.
Same difference.
We're just betting everywhere.
we just got to go all over the place. Alrighty. Well, thank you guys for coming in. We will see you on Sunday. No job's done?
Job's done.
There it is.
All right. Go football.
All right. Have a good one. Thanks for coming out.
Take it easy.
See ya.